Facebook. Hello. I got a totally ghetto setup going on right now. I'm in my trailer in Vancouver. It's Monday afternoon. I spent all morning shooting in the woods, shooting an island flashback sequence, which you would have seen because there's a photo of me jumping up and down on the Facebook page. And here we are now with my iPhone propped up against the mirror in my dressing room. The lighting is actually okay. And my iPad, which you can see right here, in front of me, and I'm going to go through the questions. So this is from a Q&A post that I did for 200,000 Facebook friends, which in and of itself is a fantastic thing. Some house cleaning items. One, if you read somewhere on the internet about an aero workout that involves going to the gym and doing weird, stupid lunges and weights and stuff like that, yeah, that's made up. I haven't lifted a weight in months. I do yoga and stretch and run and work 14-hour days. That does it as well. 2, Arrow premieres on October 9th at 8, 7 Central, followed by the Tomorrow People at 9, 8 Central. Amell Wednesdays. Just 9 days away. This is really exciting. And this is our first day of episode 8, which is a very special episode for us. You know why. A little bit different today. I'm going to try to roll through these as fast as I can. I'm going to try to answer as many as possible. I've got the timer right here. It's at 1 minute and 42 seconds right now. This should be about 15 minutes. Here we go. If I mispronounce your name, I'm sorry. Caitlin Jones writes, "You're always so grateful to the fans, and you keep up with letting them know what's going on and interacting with them. Thank you. What is your favorite interaction you've had with a fan?" That's a great question. I met a young lady, Melissa, a couple of weeks ago. She came to visit set, and that's been my favorite interaction so far. I don't want to. It's not that that one was better than other interactions with fans. Just that I don't know. They all sort of meld together after a while. I'll tell you, I just like when someone comes, and I got a soft spot for youngsters. Well, Melissa's not that young, but relatively speaking, because every once in a while, like an 8-year-old will come on set. Melissa is definitely not 8, but just whenever someone comes on, and usually on set, and I get to show them stuff, like the outfit or a set, or they get to call action or something. That stuff is always fantastic. Craig Byrne. I know Craig Byrne. "Have you ever found yourself saying you have failed this city to anyone in everyday life?" Not yet. Not yet. Matter of fact, I have not said you have failed this city in a very long time. Anna Williams would like to know if I'm actually good at archery. I have excellent form. I can't make too many comments on my accuracy because I rarely get to fire arrows. But my form, I'd like to think, is excellent. And I really like my new bow as well. Vanessa Spedic would like to know, if you weren't an actor, what would you be doing? I have no idea. None. Susan Harrison. "What is your funniest moment / blooper while shooting Arrow?" Well, if you've seen the blooper reel from the first season, which is available on Blu-ray and DVD, first scene of the day, episode 22 last year, I had to pick up Katie and carry her into the bedroom for stuff. And I missed the bed. I dropped her. And I went flying off the bed, and she went flying on top of me and cut her elbow. And everybody on the crew was dead silent for a second. And then I was like, guys, come on. Just laugh, please, for God's sakes. And they did. A lot. Michelle Nichols would like to know, what keeps you grounded? Because I seem unaffected by fame. I don't feel particularly famous. Just like the people like the show. I don't know. Being affected by something as awesome as being on a TV show, and by affected I mean being in a negative space, really takes a special kind of asshole. I mean, that's way harder than just being relaxed. But I I possibly have my moments of being difficult, but that's just because I'm a very particular person. Vitor would like to know if Oliver is ever going to hook up with Felicity anytime in the series. Well, I'm a guy, she's a girl, we're on the same TV show. And we spend a lot of time together. So, it's somewhere between yes and no. Jonathan Goodsell, how many of the stunts do you actually do yourself versus a stunt double performing them? I've said this before, my stunt double Simon Burnett is awesome. I do as much as they will allow me to, and certainly more than they want me to. I have noticed that this year I've gotten much better at picking up fights on the fly, just because we've been doing it for a little bit longer. So that we've used that to our advantage, and I think that again, despite the wishes of a lot of our producers, I've actually probably done more this year than I did last year. Jim would like to know if you could have any DC character be an Arrow and interact with Ollie, who would you pick? I don't know. But what I do know is that based on how things are going, I will eventually have the opportunity to interact with almost every DC character because they're just arriving on our show fast and furious. John De La Torre would like to know, you're essentially playing 3 characters on Arrow. You're playing the Vigilante, Oliver Post Island, and Oliver on the Island. Each character is very different from each other. Is there something you focus on when you're portraying each character to help you separate each personality? Well, the 2 characters that are the biggest juxtaposition, the biggest gap between 2 characters is, certainly was in the first season, is Oliver as Arrow and Oliver on the Island. And the biggest thing for me when I'm doing that is body language. Everything when you're in the Arrow costume is very, I mean, it's tight. It makes you sit up straight. Whereas with Island Oliver, I tried to lose a lot of that body language. But, you know, the Vigilante is still very much the Vigilante in season 2. You know, Oliver in the present day Starland City is actually quite different, and the most transformative place right now for me is Oliver on the Island, because he is going through a lot of changes. Since Arrow is filmed in Vancouver and so is Supernatural, do you ever get to cross paths with Jared and Jensen? All the time. Jared more than Jensen, but I usually see Jensen on a particular flight to Vancouver. Yeah, Jared and I hang out, they become buddies. They're good guys. I ask them for advice all the time because they've, they've handled 8 years on a television show going into the 9th year. The fact that they had a resurgence last year, and to see how loyal and enthusiastic their fans are is a real testament to the work those guys put in. And anytime that I have a question or something is maybe drawing my ire a little bit. Yep. Yeah. What's up, man?
I got your stuff here, dude.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, what's up? Yeah, okay. Sorry, bud. I'm in the middle of something. Thank you.
Here, sorry.
What was I saying? Supernatural. Good. Jared and Jensen, good guys. Trisha David would like to know, what is something that fans would be surprised to find out about you? Collecting stamps. You like romantic comedies? I do like romantic comedies. So there you go. Paul G. Meyer would like to know, what music artists do you listen to between shoots while on set? I like the new Drake album, maybe a little bit more than I should. In the first episode of Arrow, we were introduced to your maid, Reza, and there was a cool friendship there. Why was she never brought back? I don't know. I liked talking with Reza. We had a cool scene, but stuff happens. Um, Becky Madison Current would like to know what my one guilty pleasure is. I don't have any guilty pleasures. I enjoy everything that I do. Bell and Atla would like to know, hi Stephen, I have a question that has been bothering me all season one. Uh-oh. When are they going to tell us where on the island is the tattoo shop Oliver used? I'll explain myself. Oliver already confessed that he wasn't alone on the island because of the scars, but nobody asked, where did you get the tattoos yet? That's a good question, and it is going to be addressed. We actually see me this year on the island in the flashbacks with no shirt on, and it's actually kind of weird being shirtless on the show with no scars. I do have some scars, but they all have a story, and that story will be told. I promise. What is your opinion on face paint versus an actual mask for Arrow? That's also something that we're discussing, and I know that stay tuned. But I actually kind of like not having a mask on. I like just doing the paint. But maybe that's just personal preference after 31 episodes. If you could choose any superhero, Kayleen Schwartz would like to know if I could choose any superhero, DC or Marvel, for Oliver to battle, who would it be and why? I mean, probably Hawkeye, right? Just, as just because they're like doppelgangers. Yeah. Julianne Cunningham would like to know, what did I buy with my first check? Well, that was for a job that I had in Muskoka, Ontario. I made like $110 for 2 weeks of work, and I think I bought a Timex Ironman watch. And that's probably the exact answer you were looking for. Since Arrow's really taken off, what has been the moment, this is a question from Tim Toms, a fan interaction or something you got to do because of Arrow that has made the success the sweetest? The one thing that made you think, man, this is why we do this. We had our Christmas party last year. We were filming episode 14 at the time, and it was the last day before Christmas, and I was pretty run down because I wasn't particularly used to the schedule for season 1, and I actually got dressed up in the Arrow costume for the lunch hour, and the crew and some of the cast brought family members and brought kids, and we got like Santa Claus to come, and we got a photo booth, but it was fun dressing up in the costume because at that point I think 9 episodes of the show had aired, and I don't know, there were just a lot of kids that were coming that were seeing me in the Arrow suit, and that was just really cool. And then the response at Comic-Con this year was pretty rad as well. Those are 2 touchstone moments for me. Very different moments, very different crowds, but the same sort of feelings. Jean Philip Leet would like to know, there have been confirmations of The Flash popping up this season, and rumors that there were once talks about a Wonder Woman script. What other DC heroes, as not all of them are super, cough, cough, Batman, cough, or villains would you be interested in seeing brought into the show? I don't know. It's a good question. Again, I'm sure that we'll see them. Elise Heim would like to know if I'm ever coming to Australia. Oh, sure. Probably. Amanda Hainskell would like to ask, what's been your favorite stunt sequence so far? Episode 18. I like the big parkour sequence in episode 18. That was a blast, and it was very practical. Considering Oliver Queen's multilinguistics, how many languages do you speak? Semi Tabera, what is the thing that bothers you the most about what fans do when they see you? Nothing really bothers me, but sometimes when people want to come up and take pictures, I can tell that they'd like to come up and take a picture for like 2 or 3 minutes before they come up and they ask if they want to take a picture. And I'm fine taking pictures, and if I can for whatever reason I will tell you. But the thing that is somewhat unnerving every once in a while is when you can tell that someone is lingering but not approaching. Does that make sense? It's not an actual complaint, but it's the best way that I can answer the question. Okay, 2 more and then I'll break this into another part. Gabrielle J. Riley, will you ever hand over control of your social networking pages to boring and fuddy-duddy filled management executives, or can we always expect to enjoy your personal touch? You know what? That's a good question, and we'll end on this question because we're hitting the 15.5-minute mark. I'm always going to operate my pages. I would rather my page be dark than my page be run by somebody that is not me. I don't know if I'll ever or always be able to put the same amount of effort into it, but I think that it's a really good way to interact with fans, and people really seem to appreciate it. And for me personally, I think that this Facebook page is the best way to disseminate information about the show, and as it gets bigger, it gets more fun. So, there you go. And there it is. Thank you very much, Facebook. I'm going to have to break this into 2 parts because maybe I'll go through the other questions, and if there are any other good ones, I will check them off. And if I didn't answer yours, I'm sorry. And as you can tell, I'm definitely in my trailer because we got interrupted right in the middle. Again, Arrow, Wednesday, October 9th, 8/7 Central, followed by the Tomorrow People at 9/8 Central. This has been a lot of fun. Thank you, Facebook.